Hi, dear Toastmasters, guests, and friends. Welcome to the world of public speaking and leadership. We are Toastmasters where leaders are made. I'm Veera Sriram, and I welcome you to Open Heart with District 31. On our episode, we have my new division director, which is Division H director, and a friend of a lot of Toastmasters, a past area director, Toastmaster John, on our talk show. Without any further ado, please welcome my friend Toastmaster John onto our talk show. Toastmaster John, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. I ask all my guests this one question, Toastmaster John. Where did it start, your Toastmasters journey? Would you like to talk about that?
Certainly. I work for Fresenius Medical Care. We are a company that provides dialysis services for those with end-stage renal disease. Fresenius Medical Care has a Toastmasters organization called Broadcasters Toastmasters, and they're very supportive. They provided, when we were in person, space in our Waltham office. I, after attending a few meetings and open houses, decided to take the leap in 2018 and join Toastmasters. I will admit, I was quite nervous about speaking in public. Even though my role is communications, I've always been more in the background. And I knew I needed to bring myself more to the foreground. So I joined Toastmasters in 2018. I don't think I said a word in a meeting for months. And eventually I worked my way up in pathways. I started taking on leadership roles in the organization. I entered a speech contest, which was a wonderful experience. And over the last 5 years, I've really come to appreciate how much Toastmasters has done for me. And I'm so excited serving as an area and division director to try to give a little bit back to our fellow Toastmasters.
Amazing journey, Toastmaster John. And 2018, you started off, and in 2023, you are a division director. That truly talks about your Toastmasters journey. Thanks a lot for this wonderful journey. Dear Toastmasters, as Toastmaster John was talking about, it is not just communication, it's also leadership. 2018, he started as a member, but now he's a division director. Please consider leadership. It is the other element of Toastmasters that really shapes up all of us. Thank you for that, Toastmaster John. Now, dear Toastmaster John, impact of Toastmasters on your personal life, professional life, social life, spiritual life. Any example that you like to share with our Toastmasters?
Yes, I would say that on my professional life, Toastmasters has been wonderful. One of the things that I have done a lot more in my professional life is speak at in various meetings. I know it's a little thing, but I'm probably now known as the person who will always ask a question in a meeting. And I'll do that because, one, I do have a desire to know information, but also I feel very confident that I can speak well and I can ask a coherent, cogent question that's going to have a positive impact on the meeting and also provide me with information I need. So that's one. And two, I have really enjoyed the opportunity to share my Toastmasters journey with others. To give an example, a lot of times I will be preparing to do a speech and I'll have my family or friends listen to the speech. I've also had folks say, boy, you do a really nice job of speaking. And you're like, yeah, I learned that from Toastmasters. That's where I learned the art of delivering a speech. And the leadership parts you talk about, in my role at work, I'm an individual contributor. And I love that. But without Toastmasters, I would not be leading, when I was an area director, 4 clubs with more than 70 members in a division, with you have five areas to lead, 20 clubs. That has stretched me far beyond what I get out of my regular workday. And that is just wonderful for me. And it's been a real nice addition to my work and life journey.
That's such an inspiring experience, Toastmaster John. Thank you for sharing that. Now, for our guests watching our talk show, what would you say 2 reasons why should they consider Toastmasters?
One Thank you very much for the question first. One is Toastmasters will help you become a better you. You'll become more confident in who you are as a person and as a speaker. It's incredible how much Toastmasters has helped me to feel more confident in all aspects of my life. Toastmasters will also stretch you in ways that you just never imagined. I had to do a speech this past year managing a difficult audience where you are having people interrupt your speech and you have to learn how to manage it and control yourself. Now, does it happen necessarily in the real world? Not often, unless you're a politician and you're getting, heckled. But boy, I'm going to be ready if it ever happens because I've had that practice, because I've been stretched. And the Pathways program stretches you to do research, and it stretches you to be able to handle a difficult audience, to use humor. And all of those things collectively make you a better speaker, but also just stretches you as a person. I think I'm better able to handle things that come across now than I might have been before 2018, just because I'm used to getting these things thrown at me and I've got to be prepared and ready. And Toastmasters has done that for me.
Confidence that you talked about, Toastmasters John, is such an important element. Nowhere can we practice confidence. Right? We try to not tell that, but confidence is such a key thing. And also experiential learning that you're talking about, experiencing everything, every single meeting. Thank you for sharing that. Toastmasters John, now we enter the fourth segment of our talk show, which is called Rapid Fire Round. Are you ready for some fun?
Yes.
Toastmasters John, a historic leader that inspires you a lot. Any leader that comes to mind?
I will tell you that this will probably share a little bit of my leanings, but I love listening to former President Barack Obama speak. When you listen to him, his pacing, his command, his tone, it's just incredible. He really says things in such a way that it makes you want to hear what he has to say. And when he says things, it's just like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that, or I learned that. I love, and I still do, listening to him speak because he's just one of the best speakers I've ever heard. We can, have issues, discussions about politics, but just the way he presents himself and the way he delivers information, it's really incredible. It's been a real joy to watch and get a chance to hear him speak over, pre-presidency, presidency, and post-presidency.
Amazing choice there, amazing leader. And would it be the same if I would tell a historic speech that inspires you a lot, Toastmasters John?
It's interesting. I'm not actually going to do a historic speech. I know this might be odd, but I think the best speech I've ever heard, and again, I know this will be odd. When Whitney Houston passed away, I'll just never forget, I was in a hotel room in Atlanta watching her funeral. And if you listen to Kevin Costner's eulogy about Whitney and about what she meant to music and entertainment, it's as good a speech as you can deliver in terms of giving context and emotion and just pure love for one person to another. Sometimes we think of actors as they're always bound by a script and they can deliver a script. But that day, I was like, wow, I didn't realize that, how great a speaker Kevin Costner is. So from that perspective, I would say I'd encourage you, and there's a lot of other eulogies that you could really learn from if you listen to them. Those are just amazing. I will add, however, that one of my probably my favorite speech would be, from a historical perspective, would be the Gettysburg Address. And when you listen to it, it's not long, but it's powerful. And I think that that's the one thing that Toastmasters has taught me. You can do a lot in 5 to 7 minutes. You can make a big difference in 5 to 7 minutes. You don't have to speak for 20, 30 minutes to make an impact. So I hope that I didn't go on too long there, but I wanted to share that his speech when Whitney Houston passed away was great. And obviously the Gettysburg Address is just the gold standard in terms of delivering something succinctly but beautifully.
Thank you for sharing something new and also talking about the Gettysburg Address, fabulous speeches from history. Now, your personal speech, Toastmaster John, when you've written it, when you delivered it, when you got the feedback, you thought you did the best job. Any speech that comes to mind?
Yeah, boy. When I did I was fortunate enough to enter a speech contest, and I loved it. And the speech was about the America I know. And it was about my journey. When I was 18 years old, I hopped on a bus from Boston to Tulsa, Oklahoma to go to college, sight unseen. I had a typewriter and a suitcase, and that was it. And over that journey, I got to witness so much of America that I would never have seen in my lifetime. Many of it occurred in bus stations across the country, but it was an incredible experience. And so I did this speech about the America that I know and all of those experiences and the people I met along the way. I loved giving that speech. And I love the fact I get to do it at a contest. I did not advance, but I learned so much, and it just was fun to deliver it. It was fun to compete with other folks, and I really enjoyed it. And it was nice to call back and pull out these memories that I had 40 years ago. So that was my favorite speech. I think and just doing a speech contest itself was just so much fun. I encourage anyone to do a speech contest.
Thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster John. Dear Toastmaster, speech contest, as Toastmaster John was saying, is a different experience. Please participate and enjoy the experience. Toastmaster John, a book recommendation that you like to share with our audience, any book that comes to mind?
It's a great question. Our CEO just retired. He really loved a book called Finding Your True North, which was about from another leader who interviewed a series of executives and others about leadership. That book really goes, I think, well for it. It's a good book for Toastmasters because it's really talking about how important communication is and confidence are to being a leader and to helping others be successful. So I'd say that that's a wonderful book from like a leadership development perspective. And it's not very long.
Yeah.
I would encourage you. It just came out, I think, with the 25th anniversary. They have a new edition of it, which I think is just wonderful. Another book that I absolutely loved, and it took me a while to get through because it's pretty thick, was Team of Rivals by Doris Kearns Goodwin. It's a book about Lincoln and Abraham Lincoln. I know we talked earlier about the Gettysburg Address, but what it talked about was how Lincoln surrounded himself with his rivals. He was comfortable enough and realized that he needed, particularly during a time of civil war and civil unrest, he needed to hear from all parties. And the book goes into such detail about these other folks that I just didn't know about. And obviously it goes into the history of what happens with John Wilkes Booth and the assassination, all that. But as a book, it just takes all of those different people and puts them into context and how Lincoln worked with them to save a nation. And I said that book, it will take you a while, but it's absolutely worth it. It's a tremendous read.
Thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster John. Thank you for sharing that. A food that is very close to your palate. Any food that comes to mind?
I love sushi. Oh my goodness gracious. And I love fish of any kind. I will eat it whenever and wherever I can. But I love sushi. And, it's interesting. I didn't think I realized until recently, reading a couple of different books, how long sushi's been around.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was out in California many years before I even knew it existed. Because sometimes here on the East Coast, I feel a little bit behind time. So I love it. Like, if I can find a good sushi place, I will absolutely. I can't say that I'm really good with the tools of eating sushi, but the absolutely, I love sushi. You put, I don't care what it is, I will try anything. You put it in front of me and call it sushi, I will absolutely devour it. So I love sushi. I would recommend it if you're a little squeamish because it's raw fish, try it. It's incredible.
Thank you for that. any restaurant where we can enjoy nice sushi, Toastmaster John, and where you like to have good time with friends and family?
I live out in the Metro West area of Massachusetts, so I'm sure that there are many much better places. But I eat at a place at Patriot Place called Sega, and gosh, do they make really good sushi? These yummy rolls, these spicy Mexican rolls, obviously like tuna and salmon. So it's Sega, SAGA in at Patriot Place. I know that there's some other seafood restaurants there. Skipjack's is very good there as well. There used to be a Skipjack's in Boston. I'm not sure if it's still there. That's the first place that the first Skipjack's I ever ate was in Boston. And I do like legal seafood as well. They have the places around, but definitely Sega is my go-to place because it's convenient too.
Sure. Thank you for that. Toastmaster John, this wraps up our rapid fire round. Is there anything else that you want to share with our district?
Yes. I would encourage everyone to take on a role within Toastmasters. I am going to say that as a division director, I am still looking for a couple of folks to help me as area directors for the upcoming year. I served as area director on an interim level for 6 months, and last year as an area director. It was one of the best experiences of my life ever. I got to visit clubs and meet folks that I never would have had the chance to meet. And these clubs were all different and amazing in their own ways. I'd love to have some folks help me on that journey because it's great. It was really a life-changing experience. And I'd love to work with folks and have them help me for our Division H for the upcoming year. So, but even if you're not helping me, think about taking on a role, whether it's in your own club or within Toastmasters Division 31.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. Dear Toastmasters, please consider being an area director. That is the glue between the club and the district and vital point for a successful Toastmasters district. On that note, thank you, Toastmaster John. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you choose to come and talk to us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
A pleasure.
Thank you. Dear Toastmasters, that wraps up our interview. If you would like to come and talk to us, please do mention your name in our comment section. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until our next episode, bye-bye.